Good morning, beautiful. Today, I'm not going to be sad. This is not going to be a sad video because frankly, it's already sad enough if you're a bride and your dad's not there. So this is going to be a very practical vlog with tips and real advice and no fluff. Because if you're anything like me, when I was engaged leading up to my wedding day, my emotional bandwidth is like really small. So we don't have time for that. For all of my brides out there who won't have their dad there at their wedding, I want this to be just full of hope and full of inspiration, of ideas, of ways to honor your dad, or ways to soften the blow that he's not there. Because it's a big deal when your dad's not there to give you away. Before we get started, I want to try something out. I was total victim of marketing claims and I bought something I'm kind of not proud to admit I bought. I bought lip plumping lip gloss. Is there any way that this can make my lips bigger? No. Do I still believe that? We're gonna see how this goes, because I have high hopes for it. I got the pink, obviously. This is before my lips. Hello. Okay, I put on my lip plumping lip gloss. Are my lips bigger? There is a cooling, tingly effect on my lips though. I'll put the link below. If you want to shop this lip gloss, you can. On to the good stuff. First tip when you're a bride and you're gonna have a wedding where your dad's not there. My number one tip, as I said earlier, I was tapped out emotionally leading up to my wedding. Like, I would say 2 months leading up to my wedding, I was just in beast mode. Like, do it. Do that.
Do the next thing. We got that. We gotta meet with this person. And we gotta go there. Okay, then let's do this.
And it was just go, 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 go. So my first tip is to get out all of that emotion early. Pretty soon after you get engaged, watch the movie Father of the Bride, or listen to your dad's favorite music while you think about the fact that he won't be walking you down the aisle. Like, go there. I invite you to just do that. Go there mentally. Give yourself the space to be sad. Give yourself that grieving period. Because yes, you grieved the loss of your dad, but you now grieve the fact that he's not at your wedding. And that is grief. That's also a grief. Grieve that disappointment to the Lord. I spent a lot of time in prayer just asking God, like, please be with me that day. Can you please wrap me in the peace that goes beyond an all understanding, because I right now don't know how I'm going to do it. And I lived in that space. I would think about the speech my dad gave my sister at her wedding and how I wasn't going to get that. I would think about, oh, you know what was really hard? When I saw a video of my dad crying at my sister's wedding. That was very hard, but also good, because I got to grieve that whole process. And I can't imagine if I had seen that video the night before my wedding. Oh, I don't even want to think about what my wedding day would have been like. Do not procrastinate the grief about the fact your dad's not there. Give yourself time. You do have grieving to do. And it's not smart to save it all for your wedding day. Second tip, get creative with your dad's things. Something my mom did that I found incredibly creative was she took one of his red button-down work shirts and she cut a heart out of it and she sewed that into my dress right over my heart. And the minute she unveiled my dress to me, and all my bridesmaids were there. It was this incredibly happy moment. It was sad, but like there's something I can't explain. Like it was so happy. And walking down the aisle, I knew he was there. Like he was with me. Yes, my uncle was walking me down the aisle, who I adore, but my dad was still part of it. And I would say get creative. I have heard of girls taking pieces of their dad's shirts and using them as the tie that holds their bouquets together. So I loved that idea. Another great tip I will tell you, as someone who has gone through a wedding without her dad there, maybe send your relatives this video as like a hint, but the best thing on my wedding day was to be given a gift that belonged to my dad. My dad went home on Christmas Eve 2017, so it's been 3 years since he's been gone, and Stephen never got to meet him. So my best tip, especially if your fiance hasn't met your dad, tell all of the stories. Just talk about him. It's actually more brave to talk about him and feel the emotions than to just push it under the rug and not talk about him, because you're depriving your future husband of knowing like half of you. So I think the more that we talked about Daddy around Stephen, he would just start glowing, and he loved learning more about Dad, and that's a huge thing. So my favorite moment at our reception is when Caroline pulled me aside and said, "Go get Stephen, Zach and I need to talk to you." And I was thinking, oh no, there's drama. Zach starts talking, and I realize he's about to give Stephen something of Dad's. And what Zach gave Stephen is the pocket knife that Zach presented my dad with when he was a groomsman in their wedding. Zach gave this to my husband, and we were all crying. And Stephen was crying. And to this day, he keeps that pocket knife on his nightstand because he has a piece of my dad with him. If you have a family member, definitely get their blessing before you give your dad's stuff away. But I think it's so special. Your dad can't give your fiance his blessing, but I think if a family member gifts your husband something of your dad's, it's just so much sweeter. Play your dad's favorite music. So my dad played the bagpipes. We are a very Scottish family, and I really wanted a bagpiper there, but it didn't work out with COVID. But I played some songs that I consider were like me and Dad's songs during the reception, and songs that I remember Mom and Dad dancing to at my sister's wedding. So definitely incorporate his favorite music, and in that same vein, honor his hard work. Like whatever his profession was, or whatever he contributed to your community, show that off. Honor your dad's legacy some way, somehow. Make sure that he is celebrated. This one changed the game for me. Invite your dad's friends and men in your life who have been father figures to you. I had one of my dad's groomsmen say the blessing at our reception, welcome everybody, and everyone was so like, wow, when they realized that was one of my dad's groomsmen. So that was so special to have him be part of the reception. And then I had my best friend's dad saber champagne with a sword and give a toast before we cut the cake. So I felt like I had all of this fatherly love around me, and it was so special. But I encourage you to invite your dad's friends, invite all of your father figures, give them a part to play, and watch how that adds up, and watch how loved you will feel. Final tip is to remove toxic people and toxic situations. My hometown, my community is very small, close-knit. So everyone in my community knew when my dad passed away. It was in the paper. So I took for granted that everyone knew. But still, we came across people who were like, all right, and who's the father of the bride? My antenna went up and I asked Stephen, who all do we need to tell? So that on that day, I don't get a, where's the father of the bride question. So there were a couple of people who didn't know, and Stephen made sure to fill them in and let them know, like, don't ask where the father of the bride is. Think through all those things though. If you have anyone toxic in your life, first of all, cut them out now. But if you can't cut them out, I would suggest this. You are going to have a lot on you emotionally that day. You'll surprise yourself. I surprised myself on my wedding day. I cried one time and the rest I was like, woo! But have a plan for toxicity. So if you know of someone who's gonna be there who makes it kind of hard on you emotionally, I would say assign one of your bridesmaids as a buffer. Tell them, listen, this person will make this day very hard on me, and I can't do that. So I need you to intercept and distract them. And seriously, I'm not kidding here. Give your bridesmaid, whoever is your toxic person buffer, give them things that toxic person likes to talk about and say, just go talk about this with her. She'll talk about that with you for hours, and then I don't have to talk to her. And then after the wedding, you get that bridesmaid a nice gift. Because on your wedding day, if you're dealing with a family member who's already not going to be there, that's very hard. And a wedding is just a recipe for all these personalities and drama to happen, and you know, there's gonna be stuff. Expect something to happen, but don't let it affect your heart. And if there's someone in your life who you know will affect your heart on that day, then take precautions. You need to figure out a way to stay out of their radar and, you know, just let them fade into the background. Finally, I would say, when you're walking down the aisle, whether you have a dad or not, you have a gift waiting for you at the other end. You have such a gift. Your husband, the husband that you've waited for your whole life, is waiting for you. Sometimes it's easy in life to think about what we don't have, but we miss what's right in front of us. So when you're walking down the aisle, your dad won't be there, but the man God is placing in your life to love you is looking back at you, and you get to go and spend your life with him. So fill your heart with gratitude for what's to come. Invite gratitude into your heart and be so thankful for the life you have to lead together. That's all I got. You got this. Very important question. Are my lips bigger? Did it work? Did it work? You decide. Tell me in the comments.